camera, why you do this? Camera. There we go. Hi. We're back. Okay. So that was weird. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road. Continue. So we left off at the murder scene of the Wampoans. The others are getting killed by a serial killer. And we were tasked with finding out who did it and putting an end to it. So let's go and do just that. Carnival of Chrome and Neon. Let's go. There we go. Right, so we talked to the other. Let's start with talking to the rest of the people here. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Quack Atelier, home of the first clothing in Wampoa, the finest clothing in Wampoa Garden. I'm the owner, Master Tailor Wing K. Quack. How may I serve you today? I didn't expect Wampoa Garden to have a tailor, isn't it? Many people don't. There's a mistaken impression that we Wampoans are only interested in technology and the Matrix. But even technologists need clothing, don't they? And many of us gravitate towards lines of work where added protection is required. I myself am a material scientist as well as a keen follower of fashion trends. What kind of material science? Fiber related, of course. Primarily aramid fibers, graphene, composites and dilettants. It affords me a certain unique perspective when designing clothing that is not only beautiful but defensive as well. I specialize in high fashion body armor, similar to the kind crafted by SecureTech or Farson Island, Fashion Island, but with a much more personal touch. Show me what you have. Wow. SecureTech armored clothing. Kevlar is woven into the synth leather, providing a small amount of protection. It has 3 armor. But with rigid plate, this duster has a handy attach points for cabling to be used with decks or drone control kits. Can't buy everything, right? Hello. This is you. Locked? Can't change them yet. Loaned. Okay, sure. Goodbye. Rainbow, what do you got for us? This woman sports brilliantly hued hair that shifts colors, scintillating with every passing moment. She is powerfully built, a natural athlete, or someone who works out a great deal. Notably, a large shotgun rests on an arcade cabinet next to her. She affords you a short glance as you approach. When she speaks, you note a peculiarly lyrical accent to her voice. Something I can help you with there, friend? You're throwing off me game, and I'm trying to beat me best score. Tank War Europa, I haven't seen one of those caverns in years. Aye, me neither. Managed to find this one near by accident. But I heard the music and thought, hold on there, Rainbow. You know that tune. Piss on your ma. Alright, the robbery that was. You don't seem like them vampires. They're all on my touch, yeah? Maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? Looking in the murders that have been happening. Ah, that's some nasty work. Bodies hacked up, chunks bitten out of them. Make sure you load up for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Can't-placed accent. Born and raised in Dublin, down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of my early life there working security on secret spaces, you know, historical sites or undeveloped land. The green movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure didn't it beat some dead-end desk job. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. Always loved animals, and I found out being a ranger put me in close with them. It was a good time, yeah? Making sure that budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. Also kept the nastier bits like the Isuch from running amok across populated. What's that? I need whiskey? Just the word for water, which is how whiskey got its name. The cannibal horse, basically. If you never heard, be glad it drags you into box to kill you. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, problem was I started to develop this weird knack, just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the paracritters get real feisty. You're older. Bang on, and I don't look a day over 25, do I? I am Irish. Not one of them noggins, pack of punters, a lot of them, always going on about their ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that bullshit. I saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their ears weren't pointy enough or they didn't meet some stupid arbitrary criteria of old nobility. It was that kind of thing that brought back the IRA, just like in the bad old days of the Troubles. Discoverers in the new tier didn't pay for the land they took, they just had a pack of bullies with guns. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They've offered me to pay for my help, so I said yes, simple as that. So he became a terrorist. Don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now, in exchange for going overseas to work for them. Smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe, same kind of shit all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how me own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still work for them these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady Day cracked down on dissidents, but good. What are you doing in Wimpoa Garden? Me? I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, look for some kind of paracritter I've not seen before, then I put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones though, no point in hurting a Taliscat or such. It's only things like gargoyles, barghests and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year hunting one of the Indonesian vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them Yak or Panagalans? Depending on who you ask, their heads and guts come out of the body cavity, and they fly around like a giant messy pile of pasta. Took me a solid 2 months to track her down, but I did. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the keywords sits here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you usually find in the city. Been spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. I heard rumors of a rat king down there, where a mess of devil rats get all tied together in some kind of bake-off or rat beast. Haven't tracked it down yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? See you later. I've already had one bug. Terrible, terrible bug. Made me redo one entire mission. Hello, mates. Welcome to Min Vong's Matrix Materials, aka MVMM. What can I get ya? Hostile target. Sniffer. Okay. Oh shit. Simple drone repair. That's cool. That's true. That's true. That helped me because my save games weren't really that all that good. So they put it in just for the sake of bugs. Demergo, what you got for us? This man has a tired, world-weary demeanor about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, the lines about his eyes, perhaps, makes you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things happen. He lifts his cup of cheap soy coffee as you approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancer the others are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right, how are you? Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Wampones, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. So what do you find so far? You're awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of the Thaumaturgical Research Division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know? So why aren't you investigating it? He asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money either. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day, to be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for a killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. All things considered, that could be useful. Sure, if you're appraising antiques or trying to find where a lost cat went, but turning that on murder scenes is an invitation to horrors beyond imagining. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. Don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told the Arlo I didn't want any part of this. You want advice, I'll give you that, but I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? Tom wasn't afraid when he died, he was caught by surprise. It's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess he's seen, the victim should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Very sure. Tong died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't had time to fade. There was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. And it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have had that kind of resonance, in my experience. It's possible the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. Yeah, if I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. You think the mess wasn't incidental? Of course not. It's a possibility. Ask yourself this. If the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they are taking communion. It's a religious or a sexual feeling most of the time. If they didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. What do you know about the murders? They started a couple weeks ago. Aragon was the first to go. That's when asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about being a clean death. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here weeks ago before that. Maybe a month ago, tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampones don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear, too. Big guns and heavy armor with NBC seals. The works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampones chased them away. Why would they let cops in and chase them away? That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and that the others refused to answer when I asked. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out though, a gang's taking up residence in there dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them. Not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just a crazy mage that lives down the road. Ip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. The other one is a shaman that worships machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me, but don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everybody else, they tend to be an okay bunch. A bit strange, but it's a fringe culture for you. This crunch tech rebuild that set it off. Some of them even have their own auto-fab shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality too. People from all over Asia come to shop here if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. That's a precision attack. Most knife fights end up with a lot of shallow cuts and blood over the victim and attacker alike. If Tong was killed by a single strike, he definitely wouldn't have seen it coming. And you can bet your last yen that whoever killed him is highly skilled with a blade. That says to me that the attack is either a professional hitman or a practiced serial killer. It could be both too. Assassins don't tend to be the most empathetic people. Was the attack a thrust or a cut? What's slash? If the wound was a thrust, your attacker was using a knife of some kind. Anything over about 10 inches would be pretty hard to thrust with at that kind of angle. The next too high for a longer blade. If it's a slash, you're looking at a sword or cleaver attack. Both of those are popular with the triads. They make an awful mess and send a message that they're not to be trifled with. Okay, that was some useful info. There's the parking garage. Let's talk to Keita and go to the parking garage. This dumpy looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the cart reads Keita's 1 yen yatai. Cacophony of small treat screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different treat show. Interest you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman? That's a pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curried fish balls are your speed? Keita will give you a heart's desire, providing the desire is on my menu. Let me have some dango. Your wish is my command. The snack has both a sweet and salty flavor reminiscent of sesame seeds and soy. The balls inside are pleasantly warm and surprisingly chewy, a bit like eating raw dough, but without the tanned chalky taste. So, what brings you to Wampoa Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt this is a street food. I'm looking into the killing of the Wampoan elders. I've been hearing a lot about that. I haven't looked too closely though, just none of my business, you know. But any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. I saw the crowd at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trit fan. He liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. What's with all the screens? You like them? I love Trit operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, doesn't matter. This way I can watch all of my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Prior to Trit is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, step right into corporate feeds, and resell them on chip out here. I wish you could pay the bills, but my food card is a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wampoans seem to like Sim over Trit. They don't know what they're missing though. One episode of 1000 Cranes of Autumn and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Rin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out of the front lines on Mars so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell ya. Sounds like an interesting show, right? Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes, chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with a space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of Lagrange 1 spans 5 episodes just by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to see a Trit show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal, and spies? I've got to stop myself before I get carried away. Was there something else you needed? What can you tell me about the people here? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, street pirates, and everything in between. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the others, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Some kind of crazy tech witch. She summons up spirits and casts spells, and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems to. She has this mother to everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do, and they thought it was already the whole time. Magically? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Ip's a killer. Addicted to cybernetic implants, he always has to have the newest and freshest gear. The funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. Kinda get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let one of his buddies handle a problem than do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge, and the evolution of machine learning. Like I said, boring. See you later. Okay, so the parking garage. Okay. Let's get the checkpoint. Find out what the Red Spear gangers know. Hello. That's far enough, guy. This lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade. If you're not here for business, clear the hell out. You try and wander around on the turf, you're gonna have to wear you out. Can I look around this garage? Man, are you deaf? What the hell did I tell you? No, you goddamn welcome to wander around the turf. Do you know who Kindly Chang is? I work for her. She could do you some favors in the future. Okay, that's a compelling argument. But why the hell do you care about the garage? Investigating the murders. Huh. Well, we're only set up here because the original occupants are too scared of ghosts and demons to come back. There's blood on the floor, so what? The others told us it was alright if you moved in here, seemed happy to have us camped out, honestly. We just want to sell chips, that's all. Knock yourself out. Cool. What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking for somebody. They got in here, all of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone by the time we showed up. Used to be a lot of Wampones living here. They'll clear out, muttering about ghosts and shit like that. Heard anything else? The key for the storm drains. Nothing much. I'll tell you what though, I've got a guy named Kang, and he was down in the storm drain system last week. Something was moving down there. Big too, man-sized. But it wasn't speaking any language Kang understood. Kid beat feet back here as fast as he could. Dumbass dropped the storm drain key on the way out though, so you want to go looking for whatever it was. You'll have to get a new key for somebody else. Kang stole it from the city worker. Who else might have a key? There's a guy named Porter Lamb who's got keys to pretty much everything. He's somewhere between a cop and a handyman. Yen also mentioned some elf woman with crazy colored hair who managed to scam a key. He said she hunted paracritters down here. Devil rats and shit. I'm not gonna talk about the BTLs. Bloodstains. Dried blood and bullet holes pockmarked the floor, pillars and walls of the parking garage. Judging by the amount of blood staining the floor, multiple people died here. To call the scene bloody would be to do it disservice. This was a massacre of tremendous proportions. Look at this. These scratches look like they're from a long-bladed weapon like a sword or a machete. That matches the wound on Tong's neck. Our killer must have fought the HKPF in here and cut them apart. With the number of bullet holes in the walls and cars around here, they must have been spraying wildly. I'll tell you what, I don't want to have to fight this maniac at close range. Dried blood and clots clog the drain. As you look closer, however, something catches your eye. An off-red color that doesn't match the hues of the gore around the drain. Bending closer, it appears to be a small nugget of some kind. The nugget, upon closer inspection, is a chunk of some kind of synthetic ferroplastic. It's got ragged edges, as if it was broken off a larger object. A number of small markings are particularly obscured by scratches. Decipher the emblems. Brushing away some of the dust, you peer at the fragmentary bit of ferroplastic. The scratches and markings of the nugget seem vaguely familiar, and after a moment it strikes you. You're not seeing the entirety of the markings, as a rest remain on the parent piece of ferrocrete. For the scratch to be completed, they would read Ranraku Kagaku Kabushiki Gasha. The Japanese name for Ranraku Applied Science is the branch of Ranraku Eiji responsible for material science. Material science. Oh, we should go talk to the tailor. What do you have for sale, by the way? Hello. Jazz, combat stem, 2 quickness. I like drugs. Okay. See you later. Let's get out. Okay. Analyze the armor piece. We got the key to the Magpie shop. Broken piece of armor. See if we can get the storm drain key from the porter. Can you tell me about the Ella Magpie? That she was a bitch? That I've never met anyone as deliberately contrary as her. There's not much to say. Nobody wanted to hang out with Magpie, even though she was the newest elder. She acted high and mighty around everyone. She'd block deals and argue against Nakamura and just because she could. Why? It was just her nature. She loved fights and gossip. Any chance to cut somebody else down, she'd take it. I guess I always figured she had some deep-seated insecurities and covered it up by attacking other people. Do you have a key to a storm drainage system? Sure, what do you ask? Drop a gun in a grate or something? Following up a lead. In that case, take the damn key. You have to forgive me if I don't want to go down there with you. Knock yourself out, man. There's an entrance up by the Jade Mountain restaurant. Can't miss it. If we can talk to the tailor, at least. Oh, oh, oh! Do you know what kind of armor this piece is from? Perhaps. Let me see it and I'll tell you what I can find out. Japanese markings. I don't recognize all of them, but this first one is Ranraku, very recognizable to anyone who used to seeing. Composition appears to be high density ferroceramics, probably boron carbide with an interwoven bioaramid mesh. The staining on the edges suggests it contained pockets of silica suspended in polyethylene glycol, similar to the commercially sold gel pack technology. This armor could have withstood a significant amount of impact force. Even standard 7.62mm rounds wouldn't have had much of a chance of penetrating it. What could penetrate it? High velocity rounds with a tungsten carbide penetrator would be the most common. This is the kind of thing armor-piercing discarding sabot rounds were designed to defeat. A die-coated melee weapon could do it as well, but there wouldn't be the kind of splintering at the edge. Same case with the EX explosive rounds, we'd see spalling on the backside. Whoever shot this off the owner came loaded with the right kind of weaponry to get the job done, that's for certain. And you don't carry that kind of ordnance around unless you're sure of what you're facing. It's just too expensive for common carry. Okay. To Rainbow about the storm drain. Oh, okay. Guess not. Let's go see Magpie shop. Okay, excuse me. Yippee. The checkpoint. Display case. This bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals, and add-on module for cyberdecks. They don't seem to be arranged in a coherent fashion and are spread across the felt surface. Sift through the display case, searching for anything but a pre-interesting. That's interesting. There's a lot of storage memory, I/O handlers, and active memory in this bin. I'm not seeing any MPCP hardware, response increased chips, or anything related to the hot shit decking Magpie was supposed to be into. In fact, you couldn't even build a full deck with this. Without the MPCP, it'd just be a glorified comlink. What do you think it means? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say somebody cleaned her out. MPCP response increased, biofeedback filters and all that. They're easy to move, expensive and highly illegal. All the rest of the scrap is good, but it's nothing you couldn't pick up at any electronics shop. You'd have to know what you're looking for though. Only a good decker would know what they're seeing. Magpie have taken them with her? I guess so, but if she did that, why would she leave the complete cyberdecks? No, I think this was theft. The front of the service case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. A clipboard is stuck to the side by a piece of duct tape. It papers filled with a long list of programs and their prices. A quick glance over the program sheet reveals names like Bugs 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 and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly, this was Magpie's deck probe and storage machine. Somebody's removed the drives and it sure wasn't Magpie. Here, look. The main drives are disconnected properly, but it looked like she modded the server to have a backup drive with its own battery-based power supply. If it was Magpie, she'd have taken that too. Crap, this is a Fuji XB1000, and it looks like the battery's powers ran out a while ago. The XB1000s are constant write drives. They're dirt cheap and have a ton of capacity, but if they run out of power, they lose their data. We're not going to be able to get anything off this drive. Magpie's desk is the kind of messy most people only associate with Rat's Nest, hoarders and deckers. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarette butts, half-finished cans of soy calf, and scraps of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it. Their sides are blazoned with Honest Wang's instant old-time Lamian and depict a line of top hat wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Sure. Sweet mother of God. Decorous man, I don't get it. Why the hell wouldn't you pick up after yourself, if this is where you work? She was probably busy. When you get in the zone, you have to keep at it. That's just how it goes when you're in the Matrix. She probably had a timer in her deck to remind her to toggle back to meat space and eat. If I ever get in the zone that bad, promise me you'll punch me in the head. This place is gross. Search. You gingerly root around in the desk, doing your best to avoid the more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk's drawers are stuffed to overflowing with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips, and cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless, and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin lockbox catches her eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where the lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves for storing keycards, all of which are empty. A small note is taped to the interior of the box. Spare stockroom keys. The door is in the rear of Mrs. Yang restaurant. Do not lose these. Use only if I'm not available to open the stockroom. Stockroom, huh? So who broke the lockbox to get the keys out? Probably whoever cleaned up Magpie's equipment. I'm thinking you're right. Whoever tore the latch off with the box was in a hurry. Any of the others could have cracked the mag lock without much trouble, and most regular components could too. This seems like somebody was tossing the place and wanted to get in and out as fast as possible. If someone was after Magpie's gear, her stockroom would be a gold mine. You search Magpie's bathroom. There is not much in here. A toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, and a collection of cheap makeup. The combination bath shower unit, however, has a minor flakes of a dry reddish substance near the drain. Blood. Dried blood. Prying open the drain cover, it looks like quite a bit of it was shed as well. Shit. Maybe Magpie didn't take a trip after all. With that amount of blood, I'm guessing someone killed her quietly and then drained her body in the bath. It'd make it cleaner to relocate. Doesn't seem to match the killer's other scenes though. Thinking there's a lot more going on with these murders than we were initially told. First, they don't even mention Magpie to us, and now it looks like she's been killed. Something's not right here. Let's not mention this to the elders. If they're hiding anything, they may start cleaning up their tracks better. That's fair point. Okay, Wempoa Garden. Get a key to the Wempoa Garden. Storm drains. A search. Search for the killer. Find a key to Magpie's storeroom. Breaker hull. Oh there, you look like a man who understands the value of self-defense. Breaker hull at your service, and I can promise you I can help you defend yourself. What do you say? Want to take a look? What you have? Weapons and grenades. Sure. I'm looking for information. Yeah, tell me what you want. Maybe I can help you out. The Red Spear gang, they run up in here sometimes, but don't cause any trouble. Check out the parking garage out of here, though. They're usually up in there. Step light, though. If they don't know you and you cop an attitude, they'll put you in the ground. Funny thing, I heard there was a shootout with some Hong Kong police in the garage a month ago. I was away at Beijing at the time, so I didn't see it directly, but everybody was talking about it when I got back. Because we don't let the HKPF in here most times, we shoot at them if they try. Every time they come in here, it's bad for us because they're always looking for a scapegoat. Why would the elders let them in? Nobody knows. Never met her, thank God. She remembered the Deckers mostly, since she dealt in chips and software. I heard she was hard to work with. I think the phrase I overheard was that she shrieked like a harpy with a fresh corpse. I don't know, just ask Zippy though, he's a sharp one with a dick. So, he'd know her better than most. Just that the elders have been getting hacked apart. I've tried to stay away from it all. No sense painting the crosshairs on my own forehead, right? I'm nobody important and I aim to keep it that way. Can't say I associate much with them. They organize big trade deals with the Loho Joa pirates, the triads, and legitimate businesses. They tell us if somebody's been blacklisted and dispense justice when someone breaks the rules. Beyond that, they leave us alone, and I leave them alone. I'm just not important enough to register on their radar. Up, Mo. The man in front of the stall is rooting through a box of music chips with swift fingers of someone who knows what they're looking for. Behind him, a music player pumps out a constant stream of distorted atonal music. The stall's proprietor is nowhere to be seen. Can you believe this? They've got 4 bootlegs of Echelon 60, the unreleased Enoch Ian Keys double chip show from Brazzaville, but absolutely 0 chips from Shotgun Bloom. This stall stuff's purely second rate. You're right, that does suck. Shotgun Bloom is one of the best bands I've heard in years, easy. See, your friends gets it. Real talent, that crew. Like nothing I ever heard before. Mo Inebi, at your service. Decker, technologist, music fan. You're not from around here, are you? You don't hold yourself like a native. Not Wempoa Garden, no. I thought so. What brings you out of here? Oh, that's a nasty business. I heard Tong died tonight. I don't know who or what they pissed off, but it seems like like a really bad scene. Trying to keep my nose out of it. Still, I like this place. Is there anything I can do to help? What's your area of expertise? I'm a decker. I used to be a company man for years, pushing code under the servers, smearing the little cyber pukes that would try to get in our secure systems. I made a pretty good living. Had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It was kind of the thing the Sims teach you everybody reaches for, the dream life. How'd you end up here? I found out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Sure, they paid me well and kept me in creature comforts, but I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports while cleaning out the company data store. Turns out one of the company's security riggers had gotten drunk and blabbed about some project or other being over budget and behind schedule. That's not good. It's a fireable offense, right? Well, I guess upper management was worried that info would hurt their stock ratings by a fraction of a point or two, so they fired a guy with a .308 round right to the skull. That seems drastic. It may have been fractions of a point, but that was still tens of millions of yen. I guess that went beyond a firing offense directly into murder territory. What's worse, since I now knew about both the project and the murder, I could be the next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down as long as I kept my head down, so I came out here looking for like-minded deckers. I guess I ended up staying because I could get a semblance of community out here, and I couldn't get that at many other places. I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. I'm not connected enough to hear anything important, and all the talk about monsters is plain dark. I'm not afraid of monsters, but I don't want to get their attention. All I know is that a couple of months ago we had Elders Nakamura, Yatunda, Gan, and Magpie, and now we don't. To be blunt, she's a hateful, screwish old badger of a person. It was always her way or the highway. She'd butt heads with the other elders over damn near anything. The last fight she had was with Tang over something or other. I guess she ended up throwing some of his micro drones into a deep fryer and threatening to kick his ass around the block. Mid gear, her shop's got the checkpoint. Not very imaginative, I know. She always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. It cost plenty of yen, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him by the MTR station. He loves the steamed bun cart over there. Magpie shop's missing gear. In one power garden? No way. Most people are too shit scared of Magpie to pull that. And I definitely didn't recognize anything of hers. She watermarked every program and engraved every chip. Wanted people to know where the good stuff came from. There's not a lot of places to hide that kind of gear around here. We're all packed pretty tight, and this place gossips like a mahjong parlor at tea time. If I were you, I'd ask any other outsider types you can find if they've heard of something. Nobody local would risk bringing Magpie's ire down on them, or the rest of the Wampons. We might cheat other people, but we don't steal from each other. Anybody who gets caught doing that would get kicked out, or worse. We're a collection of freaks, geeks, nerds, and tech junkies. This place may look like a third world bazaar, but believe me, we have stuff here that's cutting edge in almost every field. Maybe it's not as advanced as stuff the megas have in their development labs, but it's as advanced as anything you can find in a store. People come from all over the world to buy and sell here, and work out deals for big shipments. We've got contacts with every pirate and smuggling group in the South China Sea, and every major syndicate and gang in the free enterprise zone knows not to mess with us. Not only are there a lot of us, nobody wants to lose what we're selling. The Red Dragon made a play 4 years ago, but we chased them out. Scooted off back to home in town, and they've never been back. Really, that's how you survive. It's all about playing the angles. Yeah, it pissed them off, but then we sold goods to the Yellow Lotus at a discount. In exchange, the Yellow Lotus kept them off our back. You don't have to beat up the big guy to win, you just have to make him step back so the other big guys see he's off balance. Stand-up fights are for the maggots. We're about survival just like everybody else in the shadows. See you later, Mo. Anything new we can ask Zippy? Nope. Anything new we can ask the Margot, maybe? Whoever fought the place in the garage and did a close range with the blade. That's definitely unusual. There's a lot of people in Hong Kong who can fight with a blade, but not many of them could take on 4 police officers and win. That's a losing fight even for the best gangers out there. Whoever you're looking for, they're no common killer. Sounds like your killer is the same one the police fought, that's certain. There's nobody around here that could go toe to toe with 4 HKPF heavies at close range and come out on top. At least not any with a penchant for blades. You find whoever's good with a sword and has a grudge against the elders, you've got your killer. Hello. I own a street for card. What makes you think I can know anything about armor? It is made of rice flour or something. Oh, in that case, I actually can help you. Let me see. It says, yeah, we know that. It's a Japanese school in applied sciences. The materials research branch of calculation. No kidding, there's hell of a place to find a piece of high-tech armor that's got a Renraku mark on it. I don't know much about the megas, but this seems like some pretty rare armor to find on a serial killer. I don't think off-the-shelf armor has this research mark, and it seems pretty high quality. You'd have to be well connected to get something like this. Storm drains. Save. Body parts. The disgusting pile of stinking human remains smells strongly of blood and the first stage of decay. The arms, legs and organs here are heaped together like stacked firewood, leaking blood and gore across the floor. The parts contained therein appear to have been sliced away from the parent body rather than torn or bitten. Judging by the clean edges and the cuts, the blade used to sever these parts was extremely sharp. This is a whole world of messed up. You think the killer stashed these here? They're stacked, they've been organized. A killer, alright. Looking closer at the pile, one part stands out. It's a severed forearm and it's covered in tattoos. Words in the Slavic language and shining lighthouse adorn the forearm and ring-like images are inked on each finger. On the back of the hand there's a skull inside a square. This arm belonged to a Vor. These are criminal tattoos. The lighthouse shows he tried to escape from prison or planned to. The words say all police are dogs. That skull inside a square means he served a prison term for robbery once. It's a Vor. A Vor is a thief. The Vori Zakoni is the name of the organization. Thieves in law. They have strict codes and police their own. But they don't sever arms and leave them in a pile of gore. Okay. Despite the darkness, you see something glitter at the edge of the drain. Looking closer, it appears to be a necklace chain of some kind. It's become caught in the drain's gate, narrowly avoiding falling down a deep pit. Take it. Lifting the necklace out of the drain, you turn it over in your hand. It's a simple silver pendant on a chain. The silver pendant depicts a long-tailed bird in flight, a magpie. What? Anything else in this corner, maybe? Okay. Moving on. Oh no, what the hell? Hello, mates. As you round a corner, you hear voices speaking just loudly enough for you to make out coherent sentences. The speakers are definitely not local. They speak with a slight Slavic accent, and their clothing is heavily armored. Around them are a number of crates and boxes, all mostly filled. It looks like the group is packing up. Yaroslav says the boat will be ready tomorrow morning. He's gotten everything arranged with the port authority. We moved the goods to his warehouse. He'll handle loading them onto the ship and we can get paid right then and there. Big glad to be done with this filthy place. I will too. I hate having to hide in these damn drains. It stinks down here. I can hear the devil rats running down the walkways. It's a mess and it's disgraceful. We shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. And Alexander still isn't back from his little trip. We'll have to leave him behind if he doesn't get back soon. I know, Galina. Until Andrei says we're in the clear from the triads, we can't be seen with the goods on the street. They find us, we go back to Vladivostok. In sausage casings. Those Red Dragon Mudaki don't screw around when it comes to protecting their turf. Who knows, maybe Alexander was stupid and they caught him. Either way, we'll have to lug this crap through the drains for a few clicks. Several boxes near the two women bear a distinctive label, a magpie in flight, the same emblem you saw stamped on magpie's equipment in a shop. York woman sniffs in the air suspiciously and her eyes dart toward the dark tunnel you stand in. Before you have a chance to get out of sight, she locks eyes with you. What we have here, a curious little pest come looking for things that don't concern him. What do we do with pests, Galina? Rig them. Vasilisa. And then we hammer a spike through each of their throats so anyone who sees their bodies know not to meddle in our affairs. I suggest you stay where you are, pest. Vamponials know I'm down here. You think we're afraid of those little worms? You think we're afraid of you? Don't make me laugh. They could be out of here long before they ever realize you're missing. You think those crazy chipheads will give a shit about what happens down here? I don't think so. Make a move, shithead. Give me a reason to put you down. You thugs think you're so hard, I'll kill trash like you every damn day. Trying to find the murdering the Vamponials. You think I give a shit about what you're doing down here? None of that concerns me, so why the hell should we let you live? Look around you, these storm drains act like the resonance chambers. The exits on the streets will be like the mouth of a trumpet. They'll care if they hear gunfire on the turf. Think I'm stupid? You could fast tag me with some stupid... He's right, Galena. I know how sounds can echo through these tunnels. Shit. You don't care about what we're doing? I have a job to do. You took Magpie's keycards, didn't you? Yes, we did. Alexander took one earlier. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom, see if there was anything worth stealing in it. Here, we don't have time for this. We have to move this gear. You want to play detective? Go right ahead. Is there anything you could tell me about the murders that I might not know? Think we get out a lot? I wouldn't have even known there were murders if I hadn't bothered to come out to get some soy calf last week. It's none of our business and it isn't our problem, and I like it that way. Okay, we got some new items though. Magpie's keycard. Yeah. Silver necklace. Magpie's stockroom keycard. Secret stockroom. It was in the cafe, right? Magpie stockroom. Open the door. Food. Despite the table's crude construction and an artfully laid meal awaits the owner, several small dishes are filled with pickled vegetables, while a larger plate is arranged with long slices of raw meat. The meat is a pale pinkish white like raw pork and is covered in a light soy marinade. Poking at the raw meat, you discover that it is surprisingly tender. What's more, it has the faint aroma of marinade, as if deliberately prepared. The meat alone. I'm gonna eat some random meat on a table. This box is packed full of odds and ends. It nearly overflows with a collection of knickknacks, souvenirs, and assorted personal effects. There is no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Among the contents are charms from various temples, a wooden mask, and a paper fan. I'm in a mask. The wooden mask is extremely light. It's been painted a pale white, and the surface is almost as smooth as porcelain. Delicate features and lifted eyebrows are matched with bright red lips and delicate carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black. Small charms are square cloth packets, each approximately 1 inch wide and 3 inches tall. They come in a variety of bright colors and are embroidered with characters for prosperity, peace, wealth, and protection. Inside each appears to be a folded paper prayer of fortune written in Japanese. Following the fan, you tilt it up towards the light to examine it. The image depicts an East Asian city from the 19th century or earlier, curved roofs at sunset beside a deep blue river. Two ships sail down the river, which is in turn spanned by a long wooden bridge. In the foreground, laborers carry buckets along the shore as a man on horseback rides in the opposite direction. In the distance, a pair of large red buildings dominate the city skyline, one large temple hall and a 5-tiered pagoda. The box alone. As you step away from the box, you hear a slight click in the distance, the sound of the door's latch shutting. You are no longer alone in the stockroom. Oh shit. Oh dude. Standing before you is a man clad in heavy armor and bearing a katana on his hip. His skin is an ashen grey, his eyes dead white. His teeth are jagged and appear quite sharp. This is no man. This is a ghoul. Oh, what? The ghoul's blind eyes search back and forth as it regards you. It cannot see you, but you have a sense that it knows exactly where you are at all times. Ah, a hired gun. No doubt brought to bear against me by the Wampoan elders, a means by which they can lift the curse plaguing them. I salute your tenacity, but I wonder, will you hear me out before raising your weapon to kill me? You're a ghoul and you're talking? Yes, I am not only talking, I am reasoning as well. And, since you have not attempted to kill me, your own higher faculties are engaged. I am a curiosity to you. You wish to know not only what I am, but what I have done. As for who, you may call me Gaichu. I know who you are, you're killing the Wampoan elders. You are correct. I have killed all of the Wampoan elders to date, though only Elder Magpie was according to my initial plan. I regret the deaths of the other elders, but it was necessary. Explain yourself. This affair began simply enough. As you may surmise, I am not someone who can be seen in public without great risk. Wampoa Garden is an excellent place to hide, no police or tribe presence, and minimal interest in things that lurk in the shadows. Unfortunately for me, the elder discovered me through communion with her spirits. Rather than kill or chase me away, she came to me with a proposition. The elder and the other elders were having problems with one of their number. An elder named Magpie had been holding many of their plans hostage, and would not budge. They could not remove Magpie, however, because her services were too useful to the opponents at large. The elder offered me payment to dispose of Magpie, and I accepted. Why the hell are we talking to this thing? It's a goddamn ghoul and you know what they're like. Really? What, pray tell, am I like? All teeth and claws and bad manners, I expect? Really? You wanna crack jokes, you cannibal? You're the kind of monster that'll devour a family just because it's convenient. Remember the 162s? He just like them. 162s are a gang who win the Barons. Like, that makes a bit of difference. Go on then, talk to the monster, but I'm keeping my finger on the goddamn trigger. I believe that we were speaking of the Elder's plan to have me kill Magpie. Surely you must be a little curious about that. You didn't clean up all of her blood, I found some in the drain. Ah, unfortunate. I thought I was careful enough. Having it on my hands must have obscured my sense of smell enough that I missed the last remnants in the drain. I disposed of Magpie's body by emptying the blood in the bathroom. Then I cut her up into more portable pieces. Those were placed in a plastic tarp, which I took to storm drains and hid. It's unfortunate, but my survival depends upon consumption of raw metahuman flesh. Letting such nourishment go to waste would be the foolish error. But why kill the older elders then? I contacted the elders, not in person of course, and they arranged to exchange payment. I assumed that since the job was done, the elder would be a woman of her word. I was mistaken. I arrived at the nearby parking garage the elders had told me about. They cleared out the other Wampoans under some pretense, though I'm not sure what ruse they used. The elders never showed up. Instead, several members of the Hong Kong police force arrived. They were more heavily armed than usual, so I suspect they knew something of my nature. A scarring on the concrete from bullets on blade. You killed them with a sword? And my hands, yes. My blindness preludes the use of ranged weapons. Unfortunate, since I was an excellent shot before I became infected. But my skills in grappling and kenjutsu have only increased. A battle of swords is a clash of souls. Mine was stronger than theirs, and they perished. A betrayal of that sort cannot stand. Not only was I not paid for my time and effort, the Wampoan elders treat me like a common animal. And I am so much more than that. Reputation is everything, and I had none. I had hoped to build a network of contacts so that I would be able to continue finding work. But with that treachery, my hopes were dashed. I decided to become the monster that they feared. One by one I have eliminated them. They know how to contact me and could have ended their nightmare at any time by making amends. I would have asked for more money, but I would have ceased my hunt. Yet they did not. Instead they contacted you, no doubt asking you to eliminate me where the police had failed. So I ask you, what now? What will you do? Will you attempt to finish what the Wampoan started, or will you treat me with the same humanity I have shown you? Let me ask you some questions. Very well. What would you like to know? Did you eat the elders? Some of them, not all. My condition requires that I consume raw metahuman flesh. I do not require a great deal to survive, perhaps 2 to 4 pounds a week. Consequently, there's a vastly more supply than demand. This from your armor? Ah, yes, I felt a ragged edge on one shoulder plate. I assume it was removed when one of the police officers shot me with his rifle. The hazard of war include unkempt attire, unfortunately. Why would the elders have you killed instead of paying you? Any number of reasons. They are notorious cheapskates and will always try to save money when dealing with outsiders. It could be their natural inclination towards profit. They may regard me as subhuman and therefore unworthy of respect. It could be that they felt I was too dangerous to allow to live. It could even be that they simply did not like me. The net result is the same, however. They reneged on a deal we brokered and attempted to have me killed. A message must be sent. Blood must be paid. As they have hired you to kill me, they have obviously not learned their lesson. If I let you live, what will you do? Kill the rest of the elders and anyone they send to exterminate me. It's a matter of survival. Should I ever have the opportunity to work freelance again, potential employers need to understand the price of betrayal. These murders are my curriculum vitae in revenge. Come and work with me, I can be your face. Hell yeah. A curious offer. And one of the elders, will you allow me the satisfaction of killing them? I want to see what they have to say first. I would counsel you not to believe their words, but you have the sound of one who is wary as a matter of course. Very well. Let us wait until a bit later in the night. Most pedestrians will be off the street, and it will be easier for us to post to Wampoa without being noticed. Sounds like a good plan. That's crazy. That's awesome. As you approach, the elder's eye widen. Her mouth falls open and the veins on her neck bulge. What are you doing? You've brought this thing into our home? Quick, kill it before it kills us. Yeah, I have to say this isn't a good idea. Why the hell is a ghoul in here, or why is it wearing armor? Calm yourself. I'm not an it, and your elders know this intimately. Good evening, elder. I can smell your fear, and I'm glad of this. It means you're learning the price of betrayal. Whoa, what the hell is going on here? Can someone explain to me why the ghoul is talking? Gaichu had a contract with the elders and they betrayed him. You dare to accuse of conspiring with the monster and covering it up? You're insane. The very idea is preposterous. I'm interested to hear what kind of evidence you have to support this theory. As far as I can tell, this monster killed Tong and the others, and that makes him a threat that should be eliminated. They died because they betrayed Gaichu rather than pay him for the killing of Elder Magpie. The elders hired Gaichu to kill Elder Magpie and make it look like he disappeared. You believe this vermin, this creature that feasts on metahuman flesh that kills and dismembers our tribesmen? You are a naive and foolish man if that's the case. What proof do you have that Magpie is dead? Elder, please. It matters where an elder is accused of breaking our law. The other elders generally judge them. In matters where all of them have been accused, I am authorized to act as a judge. Make your case, Shadowrunner. I found Magpie's necklace in the storm drain. There was a large amount of blood in a shower drain. So what? Perhaps she cut herself, and watched the cut off, or perhaps you are mistaken about being blood. You're simply guessing as what happened. That's true, it's a guess, and even if it's her blood, that doesn't prove that the elders hired this ghoul to kill her. The elders have always protected Wampoa Garden to the best of their ability. This is definitely Elder Magpie's. If you find it in a storm drain, that's suspicious, but hardly proof on its own. Of course it's not proof. The number of things lost down storm drains in Hong Kong must number in the tens of thousands per year. While unusual, it's hardly evidence of foul play. That may be unlikely, but it's hardly impossible. You haven't established that the elders were involved. All you've done is make suppositions about it. What proof do you have that you hired and betrayed this creature? I won't sit by and listen to idle accusations without any kind of concrete evidence to back it up. What about the fight with the Hong Kong police force? How do you mean? What does that have to do with the elders and the ghoul? This is a piece of Gaichu's armor I found in a garage. The markings on it prove it. This is from his armor, definitely, but how does it prove that the elders knew of the ghoul's existence? The police officers were abnormally armed and armored, with much heavier gear than a normal patrol. They were armed with armor-piercing, discarding sabot rounds. That's hardly a standard issue. Lesser weapons wouldn't have broken that armor plate. If all they were looking for was a common fugitive, why be prepared for a fight of that magnitude? Obviously, they knew what they were searching for. That doesn't mean we did. The evidence in the garage points to a fight with someone using a sword. We allowed the police into Whampoa Garden because they were hunting someone. They never told us who or why they were looking for their quarry. It didn't have anything to do with us. I was only in the garage to collect payment from them, the ordinary residents who were warned of the HKPF's arrival and were gone by the time I arrived. That's suspicious, I admit. It still doesn't prove the others knew it was a ghoul. You and Ponies don't allow police in the area. Why make an exception this time? The police were polite and asked our permission to enter. They were hunting a non-Whampoan. That was reason enough for us to allow them in. That doesn't end up, Elul. Why would the police ask for entry now? They've never been so polite before, and they've always tried to force their way in here. It just doesn't ring true to me. Did you ask them to come in order to hunt down this ghoul? Posters. Porter, you know what our community is like. You wouldn't lie over something like this. This ghoul has been lying the entire time, trying to cover his tracks. He has still brutally murdered several elders. That's true, those murders were vicious and cruel. I don't see any way to explain that away. This ghoul is a monster for how he killed Tong and the others. Tong wasn't tortured. There was no astral residue of pain or fear. He didn't even feel the blow. That's correct. I struck a single blow while his back was to me. His death was instant. Regrettable that he had to die for your folly, Elder, but necessary to protect my reputation. You cannot believe what these people say. They are not to be trusted, and even if this is true, he still killed Tong. Maybe so, Elder, but a monster would not take Tong's suffering into account. He may be a killer, but he's not heartless. The scene of Tong's murder, like the others, was a deliberate sham. It was made to look like more horrific than it was. I believe you. The blood smeared on the walls, the removal of his skin, that's a scene designed to evoke horror, not the scene of an actual fight. Elders, what have you to say in response? This is a farce. We have dedicated ourselves to protecting the Whampoan tribe and everyone who lives in Whampoa Garden. Do you really believe outsiders are monsters over our word? We, who have only tried to end the killings? You've been duped, Porter. You and this Shadowrunner. I concur. Porter, you know me. You know the kind of person I am. I wouldn't be party to the killing of another elder. Can't believe we're even entertaining the notion that we have to defend ourselves. We should be disposing of this ghoul instead. If you think I'll forget this, you're sorely mistaken. I will not tolerate this kind of insult. Magpie's gear was missing, obviously missing. Why didn't Abe tell me that? Pure supposition. You'd think it proves something that I didn't know this equipment was missing? Magpie's shop is always a horrible mess. Tang, you did a full inventory of Magpie's matrix servers. You assured us that everything was running fine and you would be able to continue your work. I find it hard to believe you missed something as obvious as missing equipment, especially while searching your stock. The elders were all too happy to have the Red Spears move into the garage, almost like they wanted to keep anyone curious about the fight away. That's right. Ip, you even told me not to go find out what happened at the fight. You said the Red Spear gangers were moving in and to leave them alone. Why would you tell me not to look into it? I was only trying to protect you from the Red Spears, the dangers, which is why I wanted to deal with them directly. Alright, think I have some idea of what's going on here. And what do you believe the real story is? Guys, you seem to be telling the truth. Elders, too many facts don't add up. You are obviously hiding something, possibly a great deal, from the rest of the tribe. I'm sorry, but I have to take you into custody until the community can decide the extent and manner of your punishment. Death would seem appropriate to me, especially given that they kept up this charade even to you, one of their most trusted citizens. Don't you dare talk to me like that, you disgusting beast. Ip begins to raise his weapon. Ip, no, don't make this any worse than it is. Thank you. I'll make certain that justice is meted out. You are free to go and I will sure payment is delivered to you, so long as you take Gaichu with you. I can't have him staying here. He'll be coming with me. Wow. I confess I am unhappy with the decision to allow the Wamponels to live. We should have killed them, if for no other reason than to maintain our reputation. That's why I let them live, that's not how we do things. I can accept this. I'm unused to working with Shadowrunners and assumed you would see things as I do. Hopefully there is much I can learn from you. Shall we leave this place? I'm eager to be done with the Wampoa Garden. About to leave this location and to Heo. Continue. Yep. The MTR rockets noiselessly towards Heo and along the edge of the Kowloon Bay. The black water glitters in the night with the light of thousands of reflected storefronts. Gaichu stares sightlessly out of the window, one hand pressed to the glass. The plot by the elders is exposed and Porter Lamb is in your debt. You have a new ally and the respect of the Wampoans. Sometimes everything goes right on the job. You count yourself lucky this is one of those times. We didn't have to fight anybody. That's crazy. That is crazy. Continue. Come again, 8. Get some rest. Claim payment for your runs at the mission computer. Who are you? Two men in dirty scint leather jackets look up from the conversation as you approach. They both look haggard, their shoulders slump with exhaustion, and neither appears to have shaved this morning. What do you want, man? We're talking here. Just the wrong day, stranger. We're moving further downstream and we're doing it today. There's something wrong with this place. Too many bad dreams. I know what you mean. Did you dream it too? The long corridor and the thing with the ivory crown? Yeah. Lots of people in town dreamed it or something like it. From the folks I've talked to, there was a bunch of different versions. Some people turned away from the corridor, went down alleys, that kind of thing. I've never even set foot in a world city before, stranger, so tell me, why the hell am I dreaming about it all of a sudden? I don't even know what the damn thing looks like on the inside. It's a curse, nothing else it could be. Everybody knows the place is haunted, a living hell full of evil spirits and poisoned key. If you're not careful, you'll wind up trapped inside with the rest of the human garbage. That isn't gonna happen to us, no way. Only the lowest of the low wind up in the walled city. So like he said, we're going further downstream. As soon as our things are packed, we're out of here. Best of luck then. Would say the same to you, we're staying here in Heo after all. Of the three of us, you're the one who's most likely to need it. Safe boat. Machine computer. I need to come to the parlor. A friend and business partner of mine named Dr. Shenyan has need of your services. Something about attending a fancy party in Pearl Bay, but unwilling to give me the details. Duncan can ask me to do some digging of my own into Raymond's history. I guess he doesn't trust kindly Chink to give him the full story. Can't say I blame him, since she'd hide things from us if it was in her best interest to do so. So I've been poking around various corners of the Matrix trying to dig up what I can. Most sinners leave a data trail the size of an aircraft carrier in their wake. Working backward in time, Raymond starts out that way, but it slowly tapers away into nothingness. Sure, can find some basic records in Seattle, power, utilities, a couple of public discussion sites you sign up for, but the further back I get, the less I find. And the craziest part is this, prior to 2032 I can't find anything at all, and that shouldn't be possible. It's like Raymond didn't exist before then. I don't know, I'm going to keep digging, but it'll take me a while. I'll let you know when I get some news worth sharing. Claim payment for the Wampoa Garden murders. Wampoans tell me that they've ousted all of the Council of Elders, something to do with you, exposing the efforts to cover up their own mess. It isn't the resolution I expected, but I think it's acceptable. If there's one thing I don't trust, it's people who won't pay what they owe. Thankfully, the Wampoans are more liable than the Elder and their allies, and so am I. Your payment is attached. Back to route. Walk away. Bunk. Chase the memories. You close your eyes and concentrate, willing yourself to keep the dream from slipping away. Gradually the memory comes back to you. The walled city, you were back in the walled city. You don't remember how you got there, but it couldn't have been anyplace else. Even the barrens weren't so squalid. You remember craning your neck to look above you. The buildings that made up this part of the walled city were new construction, even cheaper than the old. Now their foundations had rotted out from under them, and the buildings leaned into one another like a gang of drunken men. A ring of plaster and asbestos sprinkled down, dusting your shoulders. You began to creep forward, picking your way past the piles of refuse and debris, past the pimps and the dumpster fires, the broken glass and the dirty needles. The air reeked of rot and sewage and industrial waste, a disgusting melange that caught in your sinuses and crawled down your throat. You gagged on the stink, but it didn't slow you down. Back of your mind, you knew that you had no reason to be doing this. There was nothing for you in the walled city. You shouldn't have been there. But the rest of you was hungry, unbearably, indescribably hungry, and that part of you knew that if you keep moving, you'd finally get to eat. As you forced your way deeper into the walled city, locals stood at their windows and stared. Inexplicably, some of them dropped to their knees. You kept moving. You could see something in the distance, a silhouette, something enormous, at least twice the size of a troll, but delicate. It was beautiful. A huge figure beckoned you, gesturing with slender limb. An explosion of warmth filled your chest, and you knew that only if you could reach it, your problems would be over. She, would make all your sorrows disappear. You moved forward at a crawl, but the figure felt impossibly far away. You reached out, calling to her, and then you woke up. The empty feeling in your stomach slowly fades, taking the strength and vibrance of the memories along with it. Wood's cabin appears to be the only clean spot on the bolt hole. His equipment is nearly there on his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's it, I guess. We're runners now. Yep, think it's time to catch up. Could be. That's why I'm maintaining my equipment. It helps to focus my brain, work through stuff. Now's as good a time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? About the dream. Yes, yours sounds like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by a run in the walled city. Between that and the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum in a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course we dreamt about it. The feeling I had there stayed with me. It felt thick, heavy, and I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. Any other nightmares you've had? You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him? It kinda feels like that to me, like I dreamt about swimming towards a bright light when I woke up. I was out of breath from the effort. Just little snatches of things. The walled city was breathing, and it did everywhere. And there was a turnout that was so bright I had to shut my eyes, and Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down, I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up, the sound of my father crying. I don't know, Nicholas, I've had enough of ghouls for one lifetime. The barrens were full of them. Remember what the 162s did to asked Lane our family that lived by the old town center? Remember how we found them? That thing you forget. Yeah, I made my stomach turn. Nobody deserves to go out like that. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get comfortable with having a ghoul on our crew. Made sense to keep those others alive, by the way. Good call. We don't know anyone in this country. Seems wise to try and get some allies. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? I want to talk about Waymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think's going on with him? I don't know. He was clearly obsessed with the world cheating whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners from triad bosses. Raymond was smart as hell. I'm sure he had a reason for using Kindly Cheng as a fixer. Well, he's from here, right? It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. I think he's dying? I don't know. Yeah, me either. Just something to think about. You know, Raymond, he taught us what he wanted to teach us. Told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Not a word. Talk about being sharing with us. What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country doing dirty jobs that the cops need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said that you had nothing back home and that's why you were cool with becoming a runner. Was that true? I know it's true. When I got out of the prison I had nothing. I still have nothing. No, just what I told Kinley. Well, I had him, of course. Then what was the real reason? I think Raymond's alive. We need to run the shadows until we find out what really happened to him. Good. That we're on the same page. I feel better knowing that. What's your opinion on Connie Cheng? I'd say she got us right where she wants us. Right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What takes she wants from us? As long as the network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stick with her. We have no other connection in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. Trust her? A triad boss and underground fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her. But as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. Makes sense. Exactly. It's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell is going on. We figure out what's going on. She doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of the river. Everybody wins. What about PFM? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me. Even well-dressed, creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the shit I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. Should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. Should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy is definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cool killers in the Barrens and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. I can see that. Talk about competent, Isabel. They seem competent considering how young they are, but then again, they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us worked well in the walled city. Based on that, I'd bet the four of us would make a solid crew. We trust them. As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I'll believe what they say and keep my eyes open. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam, and it's rack time for me. Should do the same. A couple of hundred push-ups is really good. I don't think so, Duncan, but hey, knock yourself out. You're lost. Talk to you later. Okay, let's do ooh. You're a red samurai. Cool, gain ability rip. Gaiju gains a claw ability rip. Does an additional 2 damage and 2 bleeding damage for 2 rounds. Cost 1 AP. Good on 2. Active defense. Gaiju gains a defensive ability that's plus 2 armor and plus 1 dodge. Go for rip. Ooh. Okay. We can make Kan Li Cheng's friend real quick. Handsome Lee. It's muggy out even for a hale in monsoon season. You pause to mop your brow. Suddenly you feel eyes upon you. As you glance up, you meet the tranquil, searching gaze of a man half hidden in the shadows. He's wearing a crisp white tailored shirt sleeves neatly rolled, with a dark grey silk tie and smart black trousers. If he's sweating, you don't see it. The man tilts his head ever so slightly in greeting. A newcomer, welcome. Handsome Lee is the name. Purveyor of enhanced sensory experiences. I can see that you've got some tales to tell. Let's see what you got. Drugs. Nothing right now. Bye. Ooh. BUL. Dr. Shenyang. A rotund balding dwarf in a cheap suit turns to face you. Light glints from the heavy gold chains that hang around his neck. When he speaks, the voice that reaches your ears is high and nasal, as has been contorted into a rough approximation of a New York accent. Pleased to meet ya. Cheng was kind enough to arrange this little sit-down between us. You can call me Dr. Shenyang. Pleased to meet ya. His grip is as soft as his palm is moist. Ugh. It's like shaking hands with a boneless ham. You share a long, uncomfortably flaccid handshake before he finally releases you. I'm looking for a little outside help on a problem I've been having. Ordinarily, I'd handle it myself or have some of my friends see to it, but it's kinda delicate, you know. My guys been noticed before they made any headway in my problem, so I figure, hey, I hire contractors all the time. Might as well get some contractors of a different stripe. A lasting friendship are made through favors exchanged. I'm all ears. I run a little film studio, Southern Crown Films. We mostly do trade work, but we record some sims too. Maybe you've seen some of my stuff. Space Mongol from the Moon, The Flavor of Pomegranates, Ultimate Kill Squad. Oh, but I like the sound of Ultimate Kill Squad. A lot. There's this one scene where 2 trolls gang up on an elf and they... Well, I don't want to spoil it, but believe me, it is glorious. I'll send a copy over to Cheng so they can take a look. Anyway, there's this other guy in the industry and we've been butting ahead since day one. Name's Neville Ma. He runs Yellow Spring Studios. No matter what I do, I can't shut him out of the biz. He always manages to get one over on me. Steal my stars. He's been running me into the ground with his show called Promises in Moonlight. The stars a girl named Penelope Wong, new talent, but the viewers have been going nuts over her. She's the show's linchpin. Hang on, I'm getting there. So about 6 months ago, Neville was out in Guangzhou for some hoity-toity party. He's on the road, probably drunk. A semi comes out of nowhere and pow! Wrecks his fancy new Eurocar Westwind. Bad luck for Neville, good luck for me, I figure. Hey, that's the end of him for the year, and I start planning some new stuff he can compete with from the inside the hospital. You follow me so far? Yes, please keep going. Problem is, the bastard's back in the game already, and he's bringing out season 2 of Promises in Moonlight. I need that show off the air one way or another, and that, my friend, is where you come in. How long did it take him to recuperate? I tell you, kid, he should have been in the hospital for at least 3 months and in physical therapy a lot longer. Only took him a week to get out. Couldn't freaking believe it. What kind of medical care costs top dollar? He's got a lot of money, but not that much. Recovery time like that means that one of two things is going on. Neville could have found himself a silent partner, someone willing to pay top dollar for cutting edge care. I don't think it's likely, but it could have happened. But ain't that? The smart money says that he's been skimming off the top of Yellow Springs' earnings and not reporting it to the other shareholders. Tell me how I fit into this. I need you to go get me something to blackmail Neville with. Find out how he could afford to get out of the hospital so fast. He works out of his penthouse most days, so search his computer, closet, stock drawer, whatever. There's gotta be something incriminating in there. Neville lives in the Repulse Bay. It's this real swanky joint on the side of the Hong Kong island, by the bay with the same name. I haven't been able to get anybody in to poke around his apartment because the security is so tight. Lucky for you though, Neville's throwing a party on the mezzanine level with all the shops and a restaurant and balcony and such. He's celebrating the second season launch of his show, and everybody's gonna be there. Gonna make a real snarl for the building security. You might also want to hit up the party if you can bluff your way in. Everybody close enough will be there, and most of them will be 3 sheets to the wind by the time you get there. Some discreet questioning might get me the dirt that I need. Just remember, if you go to the party, don't use your real name. Go with Argyle. Should be safe enough. There's nobody in the biz out here with that name. So nobody will ask any questions about your works going. Gotta say, Dr. Shenyang, this job sounds pretty underhanded to me. Are you kidding? Underhanded is when I frame you for indecent action on your last trip to Cambodia. Blackmail is just business. And the blackmail material is what I need more than anything, but if you can get Penelope Wong out of her contract, I'll pay you extra. Got it? I want that star power on my side. One last thing. I don't want you starting a scene while you're there. You interrupt this party, make a mess, or trash his apartment, and I'm not paying you. We're clear on that? Clear. Good. I can't have Ma knowing that I'm after him. In my business, everybody's got dirty tricks, but if you make it public you're using them, that's it. My crazy status is the People's Republic of China. Nobody will work for me with ever again. Should embarrass me, eh? Got it, reputation's important. I'll make sure that yours remains intact. Glad to hear it. Listen, you do this for me, I'll make sure you're not only paid well, but I'll also tell you all my friends that you come highly recommended. They don't seem to deal with Shadowrun as much. Shadowrunners, Moonlight Prancers, who gives a crap? I got money and a job and I don't care who does it as long as the price is right. What's more, I got a lot of friends around town and a lot of them run into in your circles too. So what, you got a deal? You gotta do it? We have. Good man, that's what I like to hear. When you're done, drop Chen a line. I'll come meet you back here and I'll hand over the money. Okay. And well, we'll leave it at that for the night. So we'll start fresh. We'll start a fresh mission next time. I think we might be going to the Sky Tower. Do some damage. We have some karma though. Might want to spend that first. Used to calculate the chance to control spirits. F3. Is combat, additional weapon slot. Strength, intelligence. Willpower. Totem choice available. Let's do a totem choice. Leopard grants a personal passive benefit of 1 movement and 1 armor to the shaman. Plus 15 HP total, that's not too much. Personal passive benefit of 1 damage and plus 5 accuracy to all attacks made by the shaman. I'll do this one. Confirm. Okay. Thank you guys for watching again. And I hope to catch you next time as we continue our playthrough of Shadowrun. So, thanks. And see ya.